Vi prøver på nytt. God morgen alle sammen. Velkommen til Puls webinar, hvor vi tar for oss Veeam sitt nye lisenshåndteringsverktøy. Mitt navn Eivind Bakke. Jeg jobber i Commaxx med Veeam, sammen med blant annet Kim, som mange av dere kjenner, og Kristine, som sitter med meg her i dag. Puls jo en lisenshåndteringsportal, og vi skal få litt intro på det nå etterpå. Jeg vil bare si at vi har gjort noen spesielle ting rundt den portalen, som ikke så mange andre har gjort. Vi har en direkte kobling til vår rapporteringsportal med Puls, som betyr at vi slipper, og dere slipper, å måtte rapportere flere ganger, og også at dere kan bruke Puls for den merverdien Puls med det å administrere og ordne med lisenser. Vi tar opp webinar i dag, så hvis det noe som uklart, så går det an å lytte til det senere. Vi kjører en Q&A på slutten, hvor vi tar spørsmål. Det finnes en Q&A-slott, gjør det ikke det, Kristine?
Jo, dere skal ha en chatbox hvor dere kan legge inn spørsmål.
Ja. Og inntil videre så det veldig kaffetid å lytte og se for deres del, og så stiller dere spørsmål, så tar vi det på slutten. Med det så vil jeg gi ordet over til Anthony, som Mr. Pulse in Veeam. Isn't that correct, Anthony?
I wish. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so thank you. And just to kind of give you a context, so today we're going to be looking at the Pulse platform. I'm going to start with a quick, a few slides just to set the context in terms of Pulse, you know, what it is and how you would be using it, specifically being Commaxx partners. And then I will go into a live demo of the system, you know, show you basically if I'm a service provider, how do I request new licenses, or in fact, how do I manage my existing licenses in Pulse. So really, today's session is about setting the context, giving you an overview of the Pulse platform, you know, what is where, and most importantly, showing you how you can go and manage your licenses via Pulse. And that is because up until now, we had licenses managed in in my.veeam, a different platform. But we typically would go to your aggregator, who would go to Veeam, you know, to get those managed, or you know, any changes that you needed. But with Pulse now, that is in your hands, so you have 24/7 access to manage your own licenses in the platform. Okay, I know that the team has gone through just a few of the pointers on here. So if you have any questions, please do put them in the Q&A box, and we will take some time at the end of the session to answer your questions as well. All right. So just to kind of give a quick context, overall, we use Pulse with other partners and everybody for enrollment and contracting, licensing, utilization, reporting, and billing. It's an end-to-end platform, the way we look at it, but specifically for you as Commaxx partners, it's going to be very much focused on this licensing and utilization piece. And then we'll be working with Commaxx with the enrollment and contracting aspect as well. Before we start, I just wanted to make sure that everybody, I've checked quite a number of accounts, but I've not been able to get through to everybody's account yet. So please, if you would like to follow us along, so you can actually check your licenses if you haven't already been onto the platform yet, can you use this URL? It is propartner.veeam.com/VCSP-pulse. So this URL over here, can you please log into that? And you should see a page that looks a little bit, we've changed a little things, but looks a bit like this. And you know, you've got a button over here that would say log into Pulse. So just check that you're logging into, you know, you're able to log in and it's not giving you any error messages. Use this link over here. If you are having any issues with your login, type the your email address and just the fact that you're having issues logging in, type that into the Q&A box, and at the end of the session, I will collate that and I will reach out to you when we have that fixed. So, and if you've never registered on ProPartner, this is the registration link. It's propartner.veeam.com/registration. All right, and then when you log in, one of the things that I'm going to talk you through is we would like you to check your rental agreement. You know, check the rental agreement, make sure that the commitment level is correct. You know, your contract information, and then obviously make sure that the account information that we have for you is correct as well. If anybody logs in, if you are a no commit partner and you log in and you see that the dates have moved out, maybe they're like 2020, 2021 in terms of the expiration date. If you're a no commit partner, don't worry about the end date. We're trying to change a couple of things in terms of how we manage that. So that's the only thing, but everything else, please check that. And if you're a VRA partner, please check the end date as well. Make sure that this is what you expect it to be as well. And then with regards to license management, there's a couple of things, and I will show you this in the demo, or just to call it out. Like I mentioned, your licenses have been migrated from my.veeam into Pulse, so you no longer find them available in my.veeam.com. It's now all in Pulse. When we go through this, please check that your licenses, you can actually access them and everything's looking fine with them. When you're cutting a new set of licenses, you will be able to cut licenses assigned to like a multi-customer use. I think this is how we do things today. You can deploy in multiple tenants, or in fact, going forward, you will also be able to say, I have this end customer, I'm gonna cut a license, set of licenses just for that end customer. So you can select the single customer use as well. So take, for example, you have maybe 20 customers, you've got maybe 5 big ones. You could choose to cut licenses for those 5 big ones individually. That way you can manage it, you can cap it, and you've got visibility of the licenses that you're issuing to those guys as well. Finally, and it's not showing here, you have the internal use option. I will show you that as well, whereby you can consume these licenses within your own organization. This is not trial, it's not free. You would need to report, and you would need to obviously pay based on those, the same consumed points. However, this gives you the flexibility. Say, for example, you wanted to do some kind of replication or whatever it is, within your own organization, you can utilize these licenses as well. All right, so I'm going to switch over to the demo. And again, like I asked, please do, if you've got any questions, anything that you would like clarification, type them into the Q&A box, and we'll make sure we touch on those. Okay. So once you log into Pulse, so by the way, if you are following along, when you, when you go to the Pro Partner page, in fact, basically when you go to the Pro Partner page, you should, when you click on the login to Pulse, you will be brought to a page that looks like this. So for some of you, you may see a chart with usage required. Just ignore that completely. This is all happening in the background between the Veeam Pulse platform and the Commaxx portal. So you continue to report your usages into the Commaxx portal, and everything gets managed in the background into Veeam. So don't worry about any usage requests at all. And by the way, I should apologize. We know that a few of you got reminder notifications a couple of times. So very sincerely apologize for that. We should have switched that off. It wasn't switched off on time. So apologize. All right, so management of licenses. Very at a high level, this is your home screen. Monthly usages, you can ignore that completely. That's not going to apply to you now. Rental agreements is the big area that you want to go to, and we're going to touch on that in a second. You're able to open a support ticket by clicking on this open support ticket link. You sign in and basically you can raise a ticket like you typically would have done previously. We have pulse tutorials available to you. So if from here, you're able to look at this one over here, the managed licenses. You've got short videos on how to actually generate and manage licenses over here. So you'll be able to look at that as well. And then the pulse settings, obviously that doesn't apply to you because it's at the moment is language settings just for English and I'm sorry, just for Spanish and Portuguese at the moment. All right, so main thing that we want to go to today is the rental agreement button. So please click on that. All right, so the first thing you see is you may have more than one, by the way, one of these rows. One will say active, the other might say renewed. All you really care about is your active contract, so the one that's up to date. So you can click on the account name, so your company name, basically, and that will take you to the information that we have on record for your company. So you're able to just look at that very quickly. If there's anything that is not as you expect it to be, please raise a support ticket, because I know you might not get to look at that on this call, but raise a support ticket and we will look at fixing that as well. And then if you return back to the rental agreement tab, the other thing we want you to look at is click on the contract number here for your contract. And this just gives you a high level view. So if you can see, you've got things like obviously the status, the start date, the end date, the contract terms, and a few things like that, your minimum commitment, all basic information, but it's important that you actually get to see that as well. Okay, so to manage your licenses from within the contract screen, so it's always rental agreements, click on the contract number, click on manage licenses on the top right. All right, so if you are here, you should see at the bottom a list of any group of licenses that you have requested before today. There are three things that I'm going to show you. One is how do I access my product licenses and download those licenses? That's the first thing. Number two is how do I make changes to my existing licenses? So for example, you may want to increase or decrease the license counts for the ones you already have. So I'll show that to you as well. And three, and the final one, is how do I request or how do I cut new licenses overall? So for number one, how do you find the licenses and download them? All you need to do, so I created this earlier, so this is just an example. So you would have given a description. So all you need to do is click on this description link. This may take a few seconds. This is something that I've just created the licenses, so it may take maybe 30 seconds to load. I think it's because I'm working on the test environment. It's a little bit slower. For you, I don't expect that you would get this level of delay at all.
When waiting for something good.
I'm being impatient. I'm clicking reload. All right, so we are here now. So when you click on the description link, you will get this page. All you need to do is scroll to the bottom and you will see the products that you have licenses for. This is the number of instances or the number of units. In fact, it's showing as instances here. You can see obviously your start and end date for these licenses, so when they expire, and you are able to download these license keys here. Now, for those partners who have 9.5 update 3 or earlier, so there's a difference between the update 4, and I will show this to you, and the update 3 products. Any product that has an update 3 or before that, you would see two buttons here. One will say download, and the next button next to it will say download legacy licenses or something like that. So for the update 3, if that's the one you want to download, click on the download legacy license button. That's to update, to obtain your licenses for your update 3. All right. So that's one thing. Basically, like I showed you, I'm going to go back. I'm just going to show you very quickly. All you needed to do is click on this license description, and that will take you to that page, and you can download your licenses from there. So that's number one. The second thing is we're going to look at how to make changes to those counters. So to make changes, you don't click on the description, you click on this edit button. So I'm just going to click on that now. At this stage, just click through. So just click next. That's fine. And then now you are here, you can just scroll down and find the licenses. So you can see basically that I have backup and replication enterprise. I have 50 seats. Let's say I wanted to make that 70. And once you make your change to the amount, your license points change over here. And then I scroll down, where else was the other one I had? Workstation. Let's say for Veeam agent workstation, I had 30, but I'm like, I don't need 30, I only need 20. So I change that, click away, and my license points gets updated as well. So all you need to do is find the products that you have, make your changes, scroll to the bottom, click next. And once you're done, click, you have a quick summary. You say, yes, I'm happy with that. Click submit. All right, and then you can see basically that the license points has changed. It's gone up from 600 to 700. And again, if you wanted to download it, you just need to click on this description over here. I'm hoping that it's going to be quicker this time. And then you can see basically that you can download from there as well. Okay, any questions, please type them into the Q&A box and we'll pick them up. So we've gone through two things. You hit on this button over here, the description, to view and to download, and you use your edits to make changes to your existing group of licenses. Now, if you're looking for new licenses, you click on this request new license button at the top right. Okay, so now the first thing that you want to do is you want to give the licenses a description. So I might call this my replication licenses, for example. So you give a description, just something that you will be able to remember that group of licenses by. Then under the type, this is what I was talking about. You have multi-customer, single customer, internal use. Now, multi-customer is your default. This is typically what we've been using till now. Basically, if I selected multi-customer, I don't need to populate anything. I can just move to the next. But single customer is interesting because now I can say I want this group of licenses to be with my end customer. They could be, I don't know, let's call them Acme AS, for example. So if it's an existing, if you've already got licenses for them, you'd be able to select from their name or whatever. But for a new one, you just type in over here. So I'm going to call this Acme AS, is the name of the company. I'm going to say that they are in Norway. We don't need to, these other fields over here, they're not mandatory, like state, domain, CRM ID. If you wanted to populate them, that's fine. You could. But this is what we've done so far. And then in terms of the license expiration, so start date is obviously the 15th, which is today. The end date is going to be at the end of my contract, which is the 30th of November 2020, for example. If I had an end customer and maybe they were finishing their contract with me in June next year, then I may want this license to be co-termed so that it finishes before the 30th. So it finishes in June. If that is the case, I can select this end customer, custom end date, and I can type in, say, for example, 30th of June, 2020, for example, right? And once I do that and I switch this auto extend on, typically this license will terminate with that customer on this date. Now, remember that this is only used if you are trying to reduce the length of the license, and it's only should be used for single customer selection, the single customer use selection. All right, so I'm not going to do that. I'll just go back to the standard VRA. That's fine. And then we just click next. And you can see basically now I have my list of my products where I can go in and I can select which ones I want licenses for. So let's say I want backup and replication, VM, Enterprise Plus VM, and I want 20 units of that. So that's going to be 260 points. And then let's say I want Veeam Cloud Connect replication. Let's say I want 15 of that, and that's going to be 150 points. Did I just expand that? Yeah. Okay, cool. 150 points. So I'm happy with that. I scroll to, oh, by the way, if you can see over here at the top, this is your Veeam availability, your instance license structure. So you can see anything that is your 9.5 update 4. And as you scroll down, you have a different section, your workload specific licenses, and you can have your update 3. Excuse me. So you can have your update 3 and earlier licenses. So you can select whichever ones, because we know some of your customers might still be using your, the update 3 licenses as well. Anyway, once you're done, you click next. And you can see a quick summary. Yes, I'm happy with that. Click submit. And now you can see we have 2 groups of licenses. One is single customer, one is multi-customer, and you can see the total points for each one of these ones as well. All right, so that's basically everything from a licensing point of view. Any questions?
Yes, we have one question, and the question is: the section with the expiration date is missing in the portal. Is this not available for all partners?
It's not. That's a really good point. It shouldn't be. We're moving where that is, so it doesn't show exactly where I've just shown it to you. You will be able to see it at I think on the stage or the step before. But in fact, let me just check. Hold on one second. I'll see if I can just find quickly where it shows. This is where we're going to move it to. So we're doing some changes with licenses. So we're going to be moving it to that. Very quickly, I will show you where I expect it to be. So just give me 1 second, please. So these are some of the videos that we have currently. I believe we should actually, talking to the team, we'll share this with yourselves at some point. I'm just going to play this very quickly so that I can show you exactly where that piece is. Okay, so if you look at this, we click on the request new licenses bit over here. That's fine. We entered those usages, the description, single customer, end customer. I'm just going through this quickly so we can find it. click next, this is where it is. So when we click next, at the top of the product screen, that is where this is most likely going to be showing for you at the moment. So you'll be able to select it with that license at the top. And if you look at this, this is the product screen. You can do that, and you can see the products are below. So it's in a slightly different place on the next step, but it will be available for you as well. And by the way, if you are a no commit license or partner, you will not be able to make changes because the license terms are a lot shorter than your VRA, like a VRA partner. Okay, any other questions?
It's early Friday morning. I think we can probably take some questions afterwards as well. So if you have, I'll share a mail with you afterwards with the recordings and with your contact information, Anthony, as well. That's okay?
Yeah, that's good.
And if there's any questions that pops up later on, then you can ask either, I will say Kim from our side or Anthony, and we'll be able to help you.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks everybody, and have a great day.
Yeah. Before everyone leaves, I have thank you, Anthony. Jeg vil bare si at vi har en hosting-dag den 6. desember. Jeg kaller det en julefrokost. Der kommer vi til å gå gjennom Veeam Availability Console, Office 365 Backup og litt hva som nytt på den seneste updaten som i public beta nå. Og vi kommer også å se litt på hva som kommer i versjon 10. Det blir on-site hos oss, men vi kommer også til å gjøre det til et webinar. Det klart at dere får ikke grøt hvis dere med på webinar. Så det kommer en invitasjon til det også, bare sånn at alle klar over det. Da takker jeg for tiden, og så har vi 3 minutter til gode. Hvis det noen spørsmål, så får dere en mail av meg etterpå. Ta gjerne kontakt med meg, eller ta kontakt med Kim, eller ta kontakt med Anthony, så skal vi svare etter beste evne. Takk for tiden.